Something I've really noticed, I just want to come on here and talk a little bit about, regardless of if it's out in my everyday life or if I'm, in the neighborhood I live in. But a lot of women that I've noticed are becoming single moms. Um, for example, in my neighborhood, um, there's quite a few women who live here. Um, in my neighborhood, and they're not too bad looking, okay looking women, but some of them have lived here. Well, for example, I've lived in my neighborhood for 16 years or so, 17 years maybe. Um, some of these women have lived here, 10 years, some 5 years, a couple of years, a few of them. But I see these people on a daily basis, and when they first moved in, they had no kids. You know, um, mid the women, most of the women when they're mid 20s, early 20s, maybe a few of them. But as the years went on, I would see some of these women I would interact with, talk with. Never really was anything beyond that, but you know, some of them sometimes did try to insinuate stuff like that. But I just had a feeling about these women. I was like, no, I'm not getting myself involved with these women. But anyways, though, there was just something about them, I knew was off. So these women, I've never actually seen them with like an actual boyfriend or a man. I would see them, periodically dating someone for a little while. But one thing I started noticing is the women would become pregnant, and some time would go on. I'd see the guy periodically, I'd be like, oh, that must be the dad. And then as time went on, I wouldn't see the guy anymore. And the woman obviously would keep the kid, go through with the pregnancy, have the baby, and, as I said, I wouldn't see the father. And I would see the mom, raising the kid or whatever. A couple years would go by, and, I would see it again, a new guy. And same thing would happen. I would see the woman get pregnant again. The guy would disappear. The girl goes on with her pregnancy term, has the baby. You know, um, same thing again. A couple of years later, maybe some of them a year later. Same with the new guy. Pregnant again. Same exact storyline. The guy's gone. Don't see him no more. They have the baby. Now I see most of these women. The majority of them. There's at least, I would say, between 5 and 10 of these women that I see in my neighborhood, and about probably close to 5 of them that I've interacted with, quite a few times, and they have multiple kids, 3 to 4 or 5 kids, some of them, and all have different dads. And the strange thing is, though, these women have never worked. I've never seen these women ever go to work. They never work. Some of my neighbors I talk to, I've asked them, and they say, no, these women never work. They've never had a job that they know of. So, what they're doing is they're preying on these guys, meeting these guys, getting knocked up, getting pregnant, having these babies, and then relying on child support. And the thing that really sickens me is, these women, in the last 5 years or so, I've noticed they're driving brand new cars, Lexuses, Audis, BMWs, some of them have a Mercedes. And they're doing this just looking for these guys that they can just get knocked up by, and get child support, and go on through life just being a welfare queen. And it's really saddening, and it's actually disheartening, and it's saddening for the men as well, because these guys, I know these women, they could put on the charm even when I talk to them sometimes, and these guys fall for it. It's like, I could see these women from a mile away when I interact with them. I was like, no, something's off here. Attractive women, good-looking women, they try to charm you, and say things that they think you want to hear, but you gotta just you can't give in to it, man. There's most women when they get in their mid 20s to around 30 years old, if they're single or they have kids, single moms, like something's up with them. Like you can't trust them. Women, in my opinion, from what I've seen, women by the time they're between 20 and 22, no later than that, if they're not like married or in a serious relationship wanting to have kids with someone or have kids by then, there's this woman is damaged. And I'm not trying to bash women. You know, I'm not trying to anger any guys that maybe, you know, are got a girlfriend that's 30 years old and never had kids, you know, and I'm not trying to like say anything down upon those women or anything, but you know, a lot of them they're toxic women, man. They women should have be settled down by the time they're in their around 20 years old. I would say no later than mid 20s. You know, 24, 25. If you know, that's something I really look for, and that's a lot of things I've noticed. You know, but again, you know, back to the welfare queen situation. So yeah, that's one thing I've really noticed the past, you know, few years. A lot of these women, and I notice it everywhere I go now, like I was saying earlier, is a lot of these women, I'm seeing a lot of single moms and women with these multiple different kids from different, you know, nationalities. It's like these women are just the manipulating the system, and the problem is the child support system. That's another video for another time. It's the child support is just ridiculous. The whole process, what the men have to pay, how the whole situation works. The women doesn't have to show where the money's going, what they're spending it on. The child never even gets the money to begin with. The whole situation is something that's got to change with it. It's not okay, and it's very damaging for men. But it's set up that way to the system is set up to try to encourage women to be single moms and live off welfare and vote these Democrats and keep, you know, feeding the wheel and keep the wheel going. So it's all made by design. But you know, I wish a lot of men would get together and try and do something about the situation, because it's not healthy. It's not okay. It sucks for a lot of men. But going back to the child support, you know, that's a video for another day. But that's the other problem with that is this is, you know, the other videos that I've talked about modern dating. This is encouraging women that are in the dating pool to look for guys only that they see a super high status, making a lot of money, and it's putting these women in this mindset of they look at these guys and they say, well, I want to get a guy with super high status, makes a lot of money, and they know how the child support system works and how the states work and how, you know, men get, you know, punished and women literally get sided with for everything, so they can get away with, you know, whatever they want. So, but these women know that in the back of their head, and they say, well, you know, I really don't care if it works out, because, you know, if I get with this high value guy that brings status to me, and if it doesn't work out, I'll just leave him and take the kid and get child support for the rest of my life, and be able to live off welfare and live off this child support, and take everything this man built. And that is the problem with modern dating as well. Like I said, like these women know that in the back of their mind, so they don't even look at these guys that aren't making, you know, 6 figures and own mansions and these crazy sports cars, and it's really ruining dating. You know, I don't hear many people talking about it from that perspective, but you know, that's what I've been seeing. That's another thing that needs to be talked about, is these women. You know, the welfare system and the child support system is really empowering these women to do this and look down on men and treat them like trash, and only go for these super high status, super high value men. But you know, to be honest, the percentage of them is very small, to where, you know, these women are going to be looking forever and just missing their opportunity with the actual, you know, guys that are more on their level. But you know, I'll talk about this more in another video. I just want to come on here and rant a little bit about it. And you know, if you guys took any value from this video or liked it, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.